Hello and good evening everyone, welcome back. oNiD Racing is live once again. It's Jimmy Broadbent powered by oNiD Racing, British GT3 League. We're here round 3 at Spa. My name is Ben Brown and I am joined by the ever wonderful Mr. Sammy Roughton. How are you doing today, Sammy?
I'm doing well, Ben. How are you?
Well, yeah, now that the connection issues are sorted, a lot better. So apologies, we're a little bit later. We're a little bit later than planned. I was having some internet issues, but I hope those will be resolved. Yeah, we can crack on to it. So we've got another mad race probably. This is round 3, so we're already at round 3, and a little bit different today. We've actually got 90 minutes of Spa. Sammy, can you imagine anything better? 90 minutes of Spa.
Can't get much better.
It's definitely a fan favourite, and it's definitely a driver favourite as well. But yeah, there's a couple of tricky little areas on the track to deal with, which should be interesting today because there is threat of weather intervening. So we could be a little bit jumbled up again.
I thought we saw enough of that last week, but nope, the threat is still here.
The threat is still there. I think anyone that missed last week's race, is Danny Jansen deciding that just because he's on pole doesn't mean he's averse to making a little mistake, goes for a little spin. Yeah, anyone that's the first race was at Brands, he says. It was 2 weeks ago, which was fantastic fun. And then last week we had weather. let's say weather. So we started off with the Weather Grand Prix. It started off as a wet track, and we saw a mad rush to the pit lane the second that the pit window opened, to get on the dry tyres. So that was definitely entertaining. And tonight, well, we've seen in practice in qualifying, and there's a reason that I put the camera there on the track, wasn't there, Sam?
The amount of spins we saw was rather incredible.
Yeah, there was definitely some spins. I think some of the cars are struggling through there, and that's kind of showing on the disparity on pace. The top 9, I'd say, are kind of in their own little world, especially the top 5. And then everyone else, as we've kind of grown to love in this series so far, is super close together. You can see there from 10th down, it's just really, really close. So there's going to be plenty of fighting through the grid. All we hope is that they can get through the first lap in one piece, and then that nobody makes any mistakes, as 90 minutes is a long time to race around here without making any mistakes.
Yeah, it's critical for those guys to remember when we do reach the race start that 90 minutes is a long time, and we all know it can all change. So just take that first lap nice and calmly, and then just see how it goes for the rest of the race.
Exactly. Or absolutely, as Adam would say. There you go. Bingo card ahoy. So yeah, Jansen on pole currently. 8 minutes left in the session. He's currently in the pits, but he has got a basically 7/10 gap back to Silcevic, Hilson, Klonen, and Jongen are your top 5 currently. We're just watching Hilson, who is slightly up, but we're going to go and have a little look down the order if there's anyone super quick. Steve Bain, way down the order for him, 4.9 seconds off pole. He's about to go a lot quicker, so this is going to bolster him right up the order. Should get a lot further up. There you go, 20th position. So no issues for him finally getting in a clean lap time. Hopefully no drive-throughs tonight, Stevie.
I wonder why you're pointing that to him.
It is quite easy to pick them up here. Obviously Eau Rouge, Radion, No Name, Puon, there's a couple of other places as well you can get them, so there's plenty of places here, especially it costs 90 minutes. It's going to be a tricky one just to keep it clean, I think.
Yeah, this track, especially that first sector and those corners you named, to be honest with you, can always catch drivers out. We were seeing it in that opening sequence before we went fully on air, that if you take too much of that curb going up, Eau Rouge or Radion, whatever you like to call it, I'm not getting involved in that. that you can go flying straight into the wall, which we actually saw with Adam in practice as well. He set a perfect example for what not to do.
Yeah, I'm sure he's really happy that we managed to witness that.
Oh yeah, he's delighted.
So, a couple of things about the race. As Stevie Bain goes for a spin, pushing a bit hard onto the entry of Puon. Zilcevic, we'll flick over to him because he's currently halfway round and he's a long way up. He's 7 tenths up right now, so this is pole position sort of pace if he can keep this up across the lap. Just a reminder then, this is 90 minutes rather than 60. Obviously, refueling is allowed this week. there's no rule around limiting fuel because of the nature of the race. All of those GT3s pretty much wouldn't make it. I think maybe the Bentley would be the only one that could make it on fuel. I think off the top of my head.
Even then, it'd still be
then it'd be rough. But there's only one stop. There's a 60-minute pit window in the middle, so you've got 15 minutes, then the pit window opens. You get the pit window of 60 minutes, and then you've got another 15 minutes at the end where it's not the pit window anymore. So this does actually open up some pretty interesting options, really, in terms of pit strategy, because you could do the normal 45-minute and 45-minute stint, or if you've got some damage you could maybe pit a little bit earlier, or you could pit more towards the end of the stint. So it'll be interesting to see what different people decide to go with.
Yeah, personally for me, I'd always do a halfway through the race split as such. But yeah, people seem to do it differently. I always think for 5 minutes it's the best point personally, but Ben, you are better than me, you're faster than me, you're everything better than me in this game, so you'll probably be able to have a better reading of what to do.
Did you see me racing on Sunday? I wouldn't say that.
You've seen me.
Oh well, yeah, that's right. I haven't seen your race yet. I'd probably do the same just because of the tyre wear. You know, once you've hit 45 minutes, to see that through to an hour, you are going to have lost some tyre performance by that point. So I think the 45-minute either side is probably the way to go. I think the only issue will be if you get caught up in an incident early. In the normal races, you could kind of wait until the pit window to fix that damage, but if you do that here, you might not be able to put in enough fuel to actually make it to the end. So I think people will be looking even more than usual to be playing it extra safe at the start to make sure they're not even getting a little bit of damage, so they don't have to carry that through an entire stint.
Yeah, it is a very long lap as well, so they do have to bear that in mind, especially if you are pitting nearer to the end of the pit window, as obviously to time it to perfection, which I've been a victim of. I'm pretty sure everyone else has as well. It can catch you out very quickly, especially at Spa.
Yeah, definitely. It's easy to make a mistake, and it's easy to get involved on that first lap as well. It's obviously the later pit line for the first lap means that your first corner is the hill rather than the usual turn one, so it does make things kind of interesting to try and get through there. Zilcevic is about to go pole by an absolute mile, I think. Here, is that? Oh no, he doesn't. My timing thing was wrong. No, he did go quicker. My timing thing was like, oh, he's a second faster than his last lap. He wasn't. It was playing up. So he's still 6 tenths behind. I was going to say, he was just about to break well into the 217s with that lap time. But,
trying to make everyone excited here.
Yeah, well, I was making myself excited with that one. That was going to be an absolute belting lap. He's going to be 4 tenths clear. But no, the timing software decided that actually it didn't want to do what it wanted to do. So, let's have a look down the field. We've got oNiD is slightly up. He's quite early on his lap though, coming down the Kilmer Straight. There's only, because we missed so much of qualifying with me trying to fix the internet out, we've only got 2 minutes left and then we're going to be straight into the race. So yeah, we're going to be cracking on straight through this. Ollie Knowles currently in 15th position. He's a couple of tenths up. We've also got Matt Wilmot down in 23rd. He's 4 tenths up, so we'll just have a look at him coming up towards the bus stop chicane towards the end of the lap, see if he can get this clean. And if he can, he's going to get another lap, and he's also going to hopefully move up a few spots as well. He might break into the top 20 with this one if he can keep it nice and clean, which he does just about. I think that's going to just about. Oh, just snuck him forward. So just in front of Ryan, just behind Johnny and Stevie. So those three, as ever, close to each other.
Adam D is performing very well in this qualifying session as well, by the way. 17th place for him at the moment.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's a fair comment. He was saying beforehand that he was that the BMW was a bit of an easier beast to handle round the joys of Spa than his lovely Lexus that he usually drives. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does, especially if the rain comes. We know Adam's pretty handy in the rain as well. He does have a habit of moving forwards rather than backwards. So I am just checking. There's some possible. Oh, I saw some contacts apparently on the broadcast tool, but I'm not sure about that.
Impressive.
That's very impressive in qualifying. Silcevic then remains in second place, but improves down to a 2:18.155, 3 tenths behind Janssen, who looks like he's got pole pretty much tied up now. His main contenders are all in the pits. We've got a few drivers just finishing up their laps. I think the fastest. Well, they were all over the place, but I think Sean here is a couple of tenths up currently in the Porsche, which, given the amount of straights here, does seem pretty handy actually. I think, yeah, he's currently in 8th place. Looking down, he's still a couple of tenths up, but he's just invalidated it. So we've got Stevie Bain on a lap. And he is the only one that's on a lap and actually going quicker at the minute. There's a couple of others flirting with going quicker, but Stevie Bain obviously still going down the Kemmel Straight, a little bit faster. Janssen's just gained a lot of time through that first sector, so he's now a few tenths faster as well, even though his pole position is all but confirmed unless someone can pull an absolute rabbit out of the hat moment.
Oh, he's just pulled into the pits anyway. Must have made a mistake somewhere, I'd imagine.
Must have made a mistake. So Stevie Bain then, he's right on the cusp of working his way up here, isn't he? He's really close to that kind of pack from, what, 10th, 11th down. And a few tenths here and a few tenths there, he might be able to sneak himself up a few spots. So we're going to stay with him. He's the only one on track on a valid lap that's faster. We've actually only got 4 cars left on. I think they've all got a bit fed up with qualifying, so...
Yeah, they were all like, I've had 5 minutes, I've had enough now.
Yeah, I've had
Let's get
enough
to the
now.
race.
It's quite a novel way of doing the qualifying sessions. We're used to the kind of more 10-15 minute sprint qualifying, and this qualifying kind of allows for them to get a bit of practice in, as well as trying to get their perfect lap, as it were.
Yeah, I actually quite enjoy it though. I think it's actually nice to just see the cars circulating on the track for a while. Do you know what? A question here though is he's not going to make it, is he? He's not even going to be able to finish the lap.
That's a good point. I think the timer is actually going to run out before he gets there. And
Oh, no.
I don't wanna, he's just lost it.
Stevie.
Stevie was about to gain 3 tenths. I don't think he's going to be very happy with that, because he's going to go over the line. He would have been 3 tenths quicker, and he'd have been up into somewhere like 15th or 16th, 17th place. He might have just pipped Adam there. So, yeah, I don't think he will be particularly happy after that one. Right, well, we'll prepare then for the race. So Janssen on pole, Zilcevic second, Hilson third, Kleinen fourth, Young in fifth, Cole Clough in sixth, Browning in seventh, Sean eighth, Cameron ninth, Zach Finney in 10th position. Then we've got Baz Void in the Lamborghini in 11th, Richards in 12th, Skip 13th, then Wells, Knowles, Rathnaike, Adam D, Ashley, Guerrero, and Detas. That's your top 20. And then as we go through the order, 21st is Stevie Bain, then Matt Wilmot, Ryan Davis, Hein, Kuna, Bruce Keys, Van der Veen, Ramat, and then Zach Cotton in 30th and last position. We've got a long formation lap, so and it's sunny, as Hiker has very much pointed out in chat. It is sunny. I'm sorry, Hiker. I know you probably wanted a bit of drizzle. Hi, Sam in chat as well, by the way. Nice to have you here this evening. But yeah, sunny conditions. Sam, what do we think? Is
Thank
it
God
going to
for
stay all the way
that.
through? Oh, well.
Um, I think you've got my opinion there. I think we've had an awful lot of wet weather, but knowing oNiD, knowing us, knowing Johnny, knowing everyone, who knows what can happen. It is oNiD after all.
It's very sunny out there. In the next 30 minutes, we're not getting any rain. So it's a long race. So we have got plenty of time for that to change. But Janssen then is going to lead us away on the longest formation lap of the season. Prediction. What do you feel, Sam, today? Something a bit random? Have you thought about this one already?
Mate, I always do random. Have you not heard of it?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But I'm going for something a bit more normal. I think normal anyway. Stevie Bain. We all know what he's like. We all know he likes to get a penalty here and there. So I'm gonna go for this track where it's so easy to get a penalty. Stevie Bain will not get any sort of penalty during the race, which is highly unlikely, I think. Anyway, but
well, here you go, folks. This is going to be a good one for you. We'll put a long timer on this one, so you've got plenty of time. Will Stevie Bain get a penalty in the race?
he will.
Hiker to beat Johnny. Greg. Yeah, to be fair, Hiker there's looked nice and consistent round here. Johnny was moaning in the in the chat. He was struggling through a Rouge Rebellion. So
has he ever not moaned though?
Fair? No, he does. He doesn't always moan.
No, he's alright.
I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to put 5,000 channel points that Stevie Bain won't get a penalty.
Oh,
I've gone for it, folks. I'm giving you the chance to get some easy channel points, potentially. Oh dear. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this one because Hilson, Zilcevic, and Janssen. I mean, how close were they last week? They were so close together. And I mean, Kleinen as well, he's in fourth. He was up there. So that's top four. It's the same top four from last week. Jongen's also a lot closer this time. He's really hooked it up in qualifying to be fifth. He's a race winner from race one and had to work his way through a little bit last week. So that top five should be fairly entertaining. I think those five might just start to ease away from everyone else. And then we'll have to see when they start catching traffic, if there's any incidents, if any of them get knocked down and have to work their way back through. I think that could be quite interesting.
Yeah, it's also well worth noting as well, Ryan Davies will be starting from the pit lane.
Ryan.
Which
Tactics. He's come into chat and said tactics. Okay, so he's probably thinking, I'm far enough back that it doesn't matter, I want to stay well away from the potential for carnage. So this will be the race. This will be the race, Sam, where nothing happens at the first corner, right?
Yeah, but if it works, he could be a genius because he'll miss all that action. Because obviously, starting from the pit lane, you'll go on the outside of the hill, so you'll avoid the actual carnage that will ensue. Well, most of it anyway.
Well, it's an interesting tactic, Con. Let's see if it pays off. It's a dodgeball reference. Anyway, Stevie P. He's gone for it. 21,000 on no. He's confident in himself. I'd have been more concerned. I'd have been more concerned if he put it on yes, and then I'd have been worried. But he's feeling confident tonight.
If we see him going at 5 miles per hour around the track, we'll all know by now. Just so we can get the channel points.
Exactly, yeah, he might be taking it a little bit easy, I should say. Right, well, good luck everyone. If you're watching this while you're racing, good luck. If you're joining us just to see what happens tonight, thank you very much for joining us. We've got 90 minutes of Spa coming right up, and yeah, this as ever, I think should be interesting. Team DET indeed, because we've got Jongen and Browning in the top 7, so plenty to play for. We'll flick back to our leader then. Not quite reaching the line yet. We've still got technically turn 1 to get rounds before we get there, but they're all lining up side by side, coming up towards the first corner, and then we'll have a little plod down the hill towards the actual start finish, because that's not confusing at all.
ACC doing ACC things.
Well, I've always wondered why they make them go side by side in ACC so early, especially on this track. But
yeah.
I've also always wondered why they use that straight for the endurance. I guess it's so they're not potentially going into that wall on the right hand side. But anyway, we're coming down to the line then. So Janssen on the right, Zilcevic on the left, and Hilson and Kleinen in behind them as we're rolling down the hill towards the line. And 90 minutes of Spa is going to start now, and we've already got a drive through. I haven't spotted who that's for.
Kuna at 24th place.
Okay. Janssen then sweeps into the lead. A really nice start from him. I think we're okay on the starts. I haven't got... Oh, I have got a yellow. But no, that's fine. Little off track, but nothing more. So we've kept all 29 runners. I'm sorry, Ryan. He started in the pit lane to dodge the carnage. There hasn't been any so far. Janssen leads away Zilcevic, and Jongen up to 3rd position so far. So he's made an excellent start. He'd made up to 4th before the new turn 1, and he'd by the end of the Kemmel he was up to 3rd. So that's a great little run. Janssen already having to defend from Zilcevic. We have got some yellows at the back. I think there's probably just been a little bit of carnage coming through that first complex. There has, but thankfully it doesn't look like anything too major. I've missed in the lead Janssen, then Zilcevic has gone past him straight away. Oh, that's going to be close. That looked close. That's probably the camera looking not as close, but I think Stevie Bain's dead. So I'm not sure what happened there. Sorry, Stevie. But yeah, Zilcevic snuck past Janssen some.
Yeah, incredible start from him. I can't remember who it was, but we had someone who did pretty much the identical thing last week, and then started running away with it. But then that's when all the drama started. Really, everyone started bunching up again, and we had a brilliant fight in the final half of that race.
Well, it looks like Jongen's really got the car fired up for the starter. He's got a really good car and race trim, because he's right on the back of Janssen. So after the small comeback last week, he's really on it this week. So our race winner from round 1, starting 5th on the grid's already up to 3rd, and he's having a look at the back of Janssen as well. Gonna maybe try the undercut, but it looks like Janssen's got him done on the brakes there, so covers off the undercut nicely. Kleinen in behind, just having to go super defensive for Hilson as well. So these 5 already starting to break away. Cole has worked his way up to 6th, or he might have been 6th already, but either way, he's a few seconds behind, but kind of cementing that best of the rest position. And then the rest of the grid kind of come through. Kuna's already in, I'm assuming taking the drive-through penalty. And Ryan Davis, the tactic, I guess, has worked, because he's kept it clean out of the pits, and he's currently in 22nd, so we have lost a few with damage. I think a lot of those seem to be at the end of the Kemmel Straight.
Yeah, I think so. Matt Wilmot is one of them. But it'd be interesting to these people.
Janssen got the toe down the straight, so this could be a right back and forth. The Porsche are obviously not fantastic down the straight at all, but really strong in the complex after the Kemmel. So Janssen's managed to get past in the toe, and now Zilcevic has kind of settled in again. Let's see if we can get back past through here through no name. Sorry, Sam, carry on.
I was just saying, those people are a bit... Oh, he's going for a move here.
Try the outside line at Pooh on. He's brave.
Great race.
There's definitely a brave one around the outside, but he's going to try cut back.
Oh, is he got him?
I think
Oh my
Jongen's going to
days,
have a
it's
little go
incredible.
down the inside as well.
Oh.
Oh no, they've got to get a little bit of a touch. I'm not sure if that was because Jongen got involved as well. But Zilcevic then has got the inside. I'm assuming that there wasn't really much to do there. I don't think that was really his fault, if there was anything. He keeps the position. These 5 not treating this like a 90-minute race at all. They're going for
I
it
was going to
straight
say that
away.
exact thing. They're not caring at all. They're just going for it, seeing, just riding us with great entertainment, like always, like we've seen throughout this entire season. It's been brilliant.
Well, I mean, you can't really say that. There's a second covering the top 5 as we come down towards the bus stop chicane. Jongen having a look at Janssen. Janssen super late on the brakes, really does well to get that stopped. And Kleinen just having a little tap up the inside of Jongen. That'll break away a little bit. It looked like his nose was there and Jongen swept across it. Maybe didn't realise that he was not fully alongside, but had enough of a car alongside. It just went across the front. Jongen trying to commit down the inside. Can't quite do it, but I think these two are going to be coming down towards Eau Rouge side by side.
Oh, this is going to be...
Yeah, who's going to back
Someone's
out here?
going to back out. Surely someone will. Surely. Oh, they're going to go for it. Wow.
I mean, there's some liberal track limits, but look at
Still.
that run from Hilson. Hilson just kept his foot in. He might get 2 here because he was the one that managed to keep to the racing line. He's going to try the outside line against the BMW, and he might just be able to make that stick if he can be late enough on the brakes. Not quite, I think. Kleinen's just going to hold it. Hilson still looking, but he's going to be on the outside here. Jongen back up the inside. Jongen holds it.
Good save, good save.
Just about enough space, but you can see these guys battling has brought Colclough and Sean back into it. So the top 5 has become a top 7, and actually their front 2 have now broken away. They've actually got a 3-second gap back to Kleinen in 3rd position. So we've gone from a second covering the top 4 to a 3-second gap between the 2 maximum. So wow, I can't really keep up. I'm just having a look in front. I think Hilson's having a dive. Just looks like he just lifted a little bit to let Kleinen come back on. Where we've got a yellow for Wells. Oh, let's have a little look and see what happens with Wells. Then that's at Pouon, and oh no, we have got it. It has thought about it. Is he going to get punted, or is it just going to be? Oh, he's just lost the back end.
No.
Just snap oversteer. Just looked like a little bit too much speed being carried through. Sorry, my replays are getting a little bit behind as we come back to the action. Kleinen leads away in 3rd, but Hilson and Jongen are side by side, coming up to Blanchimont now. Hilson on the outside, Jongen on the inside. Yeah, thankfully there's lots of runoff there for them to be able to go. Colclough is having a look. Oh my, yeah. They're both in Bentleys as well. Oh, and Kleinen's outbraked himself, and Jongen, I think, has just got a little bit involved with Hilson. We will have a look at that in a second. Actually, we're going to have a look at it now before it runs out. I think Jongen's lost a couple of places because of that as well. Yeah, it looked like Hilson kind of came across the front there of Jongen. So that'll be one for the stewards to have a look afterwards. But yeah, it looked like Jongen was still there. So Jongen continues then, 6th position. These guys fighting has really broken apart that top 5 battle. Hilson is back in 16th position then. He really had to wait to be able to rejoin safely. You wouldn't want to be Sean in the middle of this then. Sean in the Porsche in the middle, Browning on the right. And Browning has disappeared off to the left. It's exit stage left. It looked like he moved across. Maybe didn't realise there were 3 wide.
Quite possibly.
Because it looked like, well, this is there's some proper touring car action. I think Sifini's now got parked off into exit stage right by Jongen. I missed what happened with that one. But yeah, it looked like when we came down to the braking zone, I think Browning, who has now returned to garage, so obviously quite a lot of damage on his car. Yeah, it looked like he just moved a little bit to the left, and there was still a Porsche and his teammate on the left-hand side. So, right, can we breathe now a little bit, Sam?
Yeah, please. It was interesting though, because what we were saying before the race is that it's a 9-minute race. You shouldn't be really pushing that hard at the start.
Well, no, I did say, like, I was wondering if people were going to be taking it easy, and we've lost. Jongen's down to 6th, although Jongen's just working his way back through. So Jongen just making a move back up to 5th, so I think he's still going to be alongside Sean, although
Oh, there's a
Porsche
potential move
power.
for the lead here, though. Oh,
Silcevic.
just
Yeah, these two definitely seem like the quickest cars, but Jongen was a lot quicker than them seemingly at the start, and really was mixing it up. It's a shame that that top 5 has kind of got broken up. Kleinen's dropped back. Oh no, I'm very sorry, Johnny. So Johnny has dropped it at Blanchimont, I think. Too much curb. Oh no, the rear just over-rotated. Very strange.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
No, he didn't even clip the curbs there. So that's a strange one. But he has continued a light knock. That won't knock his confidence or anything. He'll be straight back onto that. Janssen then still leading. Yeah, Hilson then. Where is Hilson now? Has he got? Hilson's already up to 11th. So I know a few people have had little offs in front of him, but he's gone from 16th to 11th in a lap since that instance. It's a shame him and Jongen got involved with each other. Both weren't giving up any space. The stewards afterwards, if there's any reports or anything, will obviously take a look. But that means that Kleinen then is in 3rd position behind these two, but he's now 6 seconds behind, so a little bit slower, only about half a second slower, but it looks like these two then, as long as they don't start fighting to bring everyone else into it, look like they've got the pace on the rest of the field for now.
Yeah, quite easily. But you know what? This Porsche looks incredible in these corners, and it always looks like it's going to threaten each time they get into this section. But then the Audi just clears it in the straights. It's really close stuff.
Or as I think Adam just tapped the back of oNiD. Well, watch the rejoin. Watch the rejoin, Ollie. He's just scaring the oNiD founder as he came back on the track. Yeah, that's not the rejoin that we are looking for. But yeah, I think it looked like he'd got defended against Adam and kind of chopped across in front, and then Adam just clipped the back of him as they were going into P1. Looks like a couple of positions lost, but no real damage. So Ollie continues to fight another day. I'm looking through the order, Sam. I'd say the top 24 are still going. The other 6 are still in the race, but look like they've been either slowed with damage or had incidents. Stevie Bain, we know, has already been in. Browning's back out again, but he returned to garage as well that last lap. So everyone's still there, everyone's still racing, which is what we want to see. But a few people just dropped to the back with the damage, but there's plenty of time left for them to catch back up.
Exactly. Even if it's only a few positions, it could be the difference between the next place up in the league and the championship ultimately. As potentially the Mercedes having a look.
This is Rathnaki on the back of Keys.
Oh, don't do it here.
Well, I mean, the McLaren is obviously carrying some damage. I think Keys looks like he's waiting for the pit window, because you wouldn't anticipate that the Merc would get through that easily. Keys kind of gives it up, and Rathnaki goes up to 15th.
Yeah, I think that's some damage on that McLaren there for sure.
Yeah, he's already lost another place to Cameron down the straight. Is behind them. Ryan Davies making a move on Bruce, so Davies up to 18th place from the pit lane start, so maybe he was just going for most positions gained for the race.
It'll make it nice and interesting, won't it?
I am just going to flip back to the leaders just to show you that they are still existing. They are still half a second apart. Their times are very, very similar to each other. And they're maintaining that gap back to Kleinen, although saying that Kleinen was slightly faster last lap, so yeah, he's keeping up with them. Jongen, after the incident, is still in 5th position, and Hilson now up to 9th. 1.5 seconds off of the back of Guerrero.
Yep. This battle for the lead is not going to stop. I reckon they're going to be this tight the entire race. And
Yeah,
there's never much to split between these two either.
no, and knowing our luck, they'll probably end up pitting on the same lap as well, somehow, or something
Yep.
silly like that. So we're looking back at Cameron. He's got Davies behind, then Bruce, then Keys, then to Tass. Let's go and have a look at Tass, actually. I think he's just managed to claw alongside. He has. That's going past Keys, who is obviously carrying some damage. Just waiting for the pit window to open, or at least get far enough in that he can pit. Only needing one more stop, so he might have to do another 5-10 minutes in the car before he pits if he wants to fix that damage, because the that McLaren looking pretty poorly going down the straights, unfortunately.
I'm a big fan of that oNiD inspired livery as well, by the way.
Yeah, there's a few of them actually. We see that in quite a few series, which we really appreciate. That not only do we have the normal oNiD liveries, but you've got people like Ryan Davies with the oNiD fans inspired livery. Yeah, we do get a lot of the community members getting involved and emblazoning their cars with the oNiD logo, which we really do appreciate, especially with the colour schemes as well. And so it's even managed to make its way over into the Jimmy Broadbent events, which is excellent to see. I think... Oh, Clyden's tried to save it, so he's lost it out of No Name. He's lost it out of No Name. That's a return to garage, unfortunately. So that's our third place man. Let's go back and have a little look at it. So he's probably going to get loose on the exit of No Name. He does. And then he's tapped the wall. Maybe his steering's gone at that point, because then it's just speared him across the track. And he's done, well, I think he did the only thing that he could do at that point, which was just turn to the garage, unfortunately.
He was quite lucky as well, and there was no driver near him at the time. Otherwise, that could have been a much worse crash than what it actually was.
Johnny's had another moment on the exit of Pouon then, but has rejoined it. I just saw a yellow flash up. And Hilson has made his way past Zach Finney and is now chasing down Guerrero. Let's go on board. That's not on board, that's on board. And you get a nice shot as well, because the Bentley being right-hand drive, you get to look across at it this way instead. So Hilson then, he's on leader pace, and he's working his way back up through.
Oh,
just
a bit of lag.
Yeah, that was a bit of lag for Guerrero, wasn't it? So much later on the brakes, but you know, we know that Hilson is normally up there in the top 5 fighting, so he's then catching up to the back. I think we've lost a Mr. Johnny Ashley somewhere as well. We have. Oh, am I going to get this in time? I think it's going to be Blanchimont again. I'm not sure. We caught the end of it. I'm not sure who's been to, but I'm not sure if he's come back on into Ollie or there's been an incident. But yeah, that is a car off at the outside of Blanchimont, and then Johnny just trying to wheel that one back round. He will probably pit. Yes, he will. So he's probably going to pit here and then try and make it to the end on the fuel. He should be able to do 70 minutes in the Mercedes. You can knock down a engine mode to try and save a little bit more fuel. So he's probably going to end up doing that, unfortunately. But if it means he only needs to do one more stop, he needs to do one more stop.
His biggest issue is his tyres, though, having to do over 70 minutes on a set of tyres.
No more sliding allowed. No more sliding allowed, Sam. Nice and consistent.
Never.
Colcloughlin has been overtaken by Jongen.
There's a yellow flag there.
It's a yellow flag.
Not sure it was full though. And what? Janssen and Slitzovic is still only 3.5 tenths apart. It's incredible. They're literally lapping identical lap times at the moment. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, the guys at the front really are keeping up with each other, aren't they? They are literally a tenth apart, or less than a tenth apart, every single lap. Coldbuffer also is doing a good job trying to hang on to the back of Jongen as well. So he's kind of cementing that position in fourth. He's now got a good 5 seconds behind him, back to Sean in fifth, and Guerrero in sixth. So Hilson's still the man on the move, but I mean, if we look further back, we're looking at Colin Cameron at the minute, who's up even more places currently, up into 13th. Ryan Davies is up into 12th. Now I know we've had some pit stops and things, but he's bringing that McLaren round quite nicely today.
Yeah, he's a very good driver as well. So you wouldn't expect less from a man who always likes to give it. It's always pushes it to the limit.
Yeah, Cameron and the Lamborghini. That's a brave choice for a car, especially around here. I'm sure that's nice and leery. Rathnake is following very closely at 14th, having a good run out in the Mercedes. So these three coming over the top of the hill, all in one piece, he says, not wanting to jinx anyone. And I think Ryan might have just made a mistake on the at the top of the hill. Cameron then is going to get the run down, and it looks like he's going to get it done quite early on.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, nice and easy. Got it nice and tidy under the brakes. Ryan just losing the back end a little bit. Rathnake is going to try for the outside. He's going to try for the outside, which is brave. Thought he might try the old undercut, but couldn't quite make that work.
I do wonder how many track limit warnings Mr. Steve Bain's on at the moment.
Well, I think now that he's had his moment, let's say, and found a wall somewhere or someone else's other car on lap 1, I think he might be taking it a little bit easier. So maybe that's why he's feeling confident. Guerrero
That's for those channel points.
Exactly, yeah, he wants those channel points back. Guerrero just showed up as yellow, so I think he just ran wide, just coming onto the back straight, and Hilson then really close behind him. Hilson though, wow, that's not the place to try and make the move. I think that was more a dummy than anything else, but it looked like he got a bit wriggly on the apex because of it. So Hilson having a look at the back of the Guerrero.
Oh,
That's definitely a dive.
brave. Yeah.
Yeah. So that seemed late, I would say, but obviously Guerrero agrees by the look of it. So I'm sure the stewards will have a little look at that one afterwards if that one's reported in. That did seem a little bit late because I think Guerrero looked like he was already committed to the corner at that point.
Yeah, that is what it looked like to me. But it's interesting though. Matt Wilmot there reviewing on board now.
Yeah, he's been working his way back
Bruce.
through. Yeah, he's been working. So he was quite a long way off the back. I think he might have got caught up in whatever happened at the start. It doesn't look like he's got any damage, but he's certainly been recovering well, up to 17th. Would you like a Stevie Bain cut track?
Always.
Update. He's saying 0, and
What?
he didn't say that he didn't speed in the pit lane either when he had to pit. So there's plenty of time for that though. But and Johnny had to retire, car over rotating at full throttle. Yeah, we could see that, Johnny. Feel free to come and join us in the comments box if you want to give us some company, mate. We're more than happy to have you. Matt Wilmot then defending on the inside down the Kemmel, but it looked like Detas just had a nice run on him and sends it around the outside. Nice easy. Matt didn't make it too difficult for him in the end. Guerrero flashing up a yellow again, but it looks like it was just a running too wide at Pouan, and he continues on. So Detas then up to 17th. Matt Wilmot still in 18th, and as the only controller user in here that I know of today, he's doing a sterling job.
I don't know what. I do not know how he uses controller every single race.
Well,
He is the maddest person ever.
Yeah, absolutely mad. I mean, Detas is moving right now, isn't he? I mean, that's another place. He's past Bruce, up to 16th. So, yeah, his last lap was over a second faster than all of the cars around him. So, his last lap was actually his fastest lap. So, yeah, he's on the move then. Obviously had some issues and has dropped back a little bit. We're joined in the commentary booth by Mr. oNiD Founder. and general dog's body around the place, Mr. John Ashley. Hello, mate.
Mate,
So, talk us through it. How killy was the Merc today?
really bad. I don't know what was wrong with it. I spent pretty much the whole of qualifying trying to solve the issue of over-rotating. Blanchimont not hitting any curbs, and it would just lose it on its own. Just no reason whatsoever. Same with Eau Rouge. Couldn't get through Eau Rouge without pretty much coming to a stop. I tried everything I could think of on the car, and it just wouldn't have any of it. So I managed to get a pit stop done, but then it wasn't even at Blanchimont. It was coming out of the corner before. I just kind of went into the corner and lost the back end, and I was like, do you know what? Probably best I need to retire now before I throw my wheel through the window.
Yeah, it's probably best for your equipment as well as your sanity at that point, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
well,
What about our sanity though?
well, now Johnny's here, we can have a bit of sanity back because we've got someone else to get involved.
Oh yeah.
We've still got an hour to go. So I don't know if you caught much of the action, Johnny, but it was fraught at the start with the top 5.
Yeah. I thought it was. I thought it was fraught for the top 20 because I went from 20th to 8th.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely busy.
okay.
Nice move from Hilson, then Hilson back up to 5th past Sean. I don't think Sean's going to fight that one too hard. He doesn't. Hilson is now worked his way back up from 16th back up to 5th place. Yeah, I'm sure you had a really good view of it, Johnny, as you were passing lots of cars either slow off out of corners because it had a little moment, or facing the wrong way, unfortunately.
Yeah, considering Eau Rouge, Radion was fairly well behaved.
Yeah.
Be the few corners after that, people going in 3 wide into Lacombe and things like that. It's like, oh, there's another car off, another spot gained. Yeah, it just seemed to be really. I don't know. It's almost sort of like they didn't think it was an hour and 30 race. It's a 5-minute race. It's like we need to get as fast forward as possible, as quick as possible.
Well, me and Sam were saying before the race that we thought people might take it easy, and to be fair, through Eau Rouge and Radion there really wasn't anything. No spinners, a couple of cars a little bit wide, but Simar Girl 123, thank you very much for the follow. Yeah, it was relatively quiet at the start until it wasn't. It was at the end of the Camel, I think. Everything went a bit mad. The Tast, massive up. That's really low. Oh, he's made the apex as well. That's a lovely move, that. Rainbow Timmy 27, thank you very much for the follow as well. If you're not followed and you're watching, nice Nayursk. Sorry for the rubbish pronunciation. Also, thank you very much for the follow.
Eagle Ice, I'm going with that.
Eagle Ice. Either we've had a secret raid somewhere and you're following from somewhere else, or we're getting spam botted. But you've all come through at exactly the same time, so thank you very much for dropping in today.
I suppose as well with the way this race is set up, you're going to see a lot of mix of grid for a little while as well.
Yeah.
Because you've got an hour to do one pit stop. So, and with it has got a little bit cloudy, so I wonder if we might have a chance of rain before the end of the race.
Yeah, because it was so sunny beforehand. We were a bit confused. We were like, "What's this sort of? This isn't normal oNiD weather." I'm just
When I
gonna.
set up the server.
Yeah, exactly. We've got the Zilcevic fan club in the chat, so I thought I'd show you where he is. So Zilcevic at the minute, 2 seconds off the back of Janssen, trying to keep Janssen extremely honest. He's been keeping up, I think maybe just losing the tyres a little bit, but these two in a class of their own really. Jongen some 17 seconds behind. Yeah, just the first couple, I think at the end of lap 3, I think it was, Johnny, I think there was a second between the top 5. And it ended exactly how you'd anticipate it to, when there's 5 cars, 5 GT3 cars between in a second of each other. So yeah, plenty of back and forth, and Hilson was the one that came off worse. We've also lost Browning, who's, to be fair to him, has rejoined after the bit of an incident. He's rejoined, and Kleinen as well, who was up in the top 5, had a bit of an incident too, and has returned to garage and also rejoined as well. So yeah, everybody's still running aside from yourself, Johnny, which we're extremely happy with. That's really good to see, given the length of the race, that people want to get back out there and carry on.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've not taken our own advice and finished the race, but I thought it was for everyone else's. I managed to collect Ollie Knowles in the last one, so I was like, maybe it's probably safer for me to be sat in the commentary booth at this point. But yeah, really good. What we want from our drivers is to finish the race, and there's always places to be made up. You have a look at Brownings already; he's up to 25th from pretty much last, and he'll make a few more places. He's got, you know, the likes of that Cotton and Hine and Wells just in front of him as well. So he'll make places up, and there's points to be had at the end of the day. So it's always worth sticking on if you can.
Well, I'd like to say that Adam has made up another place. He's up to 8th position, the heady height. Sam, you did call it out that he was, you know, he likes to gain places.
I am literally a wizard. But no, I was actually watching this. He got a great run out of Arouge and was just able to breeze past him on the straight, which is expected considering exactly when he is in that Porsche, which, you know, isn't necessarily the quickest of cars that you've ever seen.
It is when he comes to the corners, but when it comes down the straights, it's really not. It can be a little bit slow.
I think Zach's carrying a little bit of damage as well from an earlier incident, so that'll be hampering the Porsche quite a bit.
We're trying to say that Adam hasn't been involved in an accident yet. I'm shocked.
No, to be fair to Adam, I was in chat with him, and he's really getting on with that BMW. He literally said he could do over flat, not a problem, no lift, nothing. He's comfortable in it, so I think he might have found his car at last.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know how much he likes a Lexus. Although very similar in shape, the Lexus and the BMW couldn't be further away from each other in terms of drivability for both being front engine cars. So it's good that he's managed to find something that suits him. I'm just having a look at our prediction man. I'm not sure how many penalty points he's on, Greg, but last time we checked he was still on 0. So nothing. He's still on 0. He's typing down the camel. He's pulling the wheel dandy.
I don't know how he can do that, to be fair. It's mad.
I think my PC would blow up if I tried to tab out of the game.
I think I would blow up. I would blow up, let alone my computer.
I think, yeah. No, my PC would just decide to explode, I think, if I tried to tab out of ACC while driving, let alone trying to concentrate that much. No pressure, Stevie, but that looked like one there. Right, let's go away. Let's cut away to someone else. Guerrero in 7th place then, catching up. That's Sean in front, just coming up some lap traffic. So these two, 6th and 7th position. Lap car very nicely gets out of the way. That was very kind of them. And this battle will continue.
Well, and he's just gone off there. It's going to be back under pressure on Zach very, very shortly, I'd imagine.
Guerrero's got pretty used to staring at the back of another car. Ooh. Guerrero, I think, having a few internet. I think Guerrero was the one that we saw just going straight at one point.
Yeah,
through Longchamp. So, well, he's doing well. Needless to say, although he had that little incident with Hilson earlier on in the race, I think he's doing very well to still be in 7th place. Obviously, got the pace today, and he was super quick through Radion as well. Not Radion, Longchamp. Get your Spa corner names right, man.
Not easy.
Not easy. Do you think Sean was giving it up? Yeah, I think Sean just gave him the inside there. I think he knew it was coming and just moved to the left. Although he's trying to hang it out around the outside. Not quite going to be able to do it, but it did look like he knew that was coming. So Guerrero then up into 6th position.
if that was him being sensible there, I rate it very highly, because he knows that isn't his race. He knows that he's probably fighting the guys around him a bit more, like Zach Finney, like D, you know, drivers like that. And so, very sensible driving for him not to lose too much time as well.
Well, we saw Adam D being one of the first to pit. And also Colin Cameron, a few places behind him, also in the pits. Joddy, as someone that was in the race, I know there's only one pit stop. What do you think was the kind of go-to strategy today? Would you have been doing the 45-minute split, or would you have been looking to go a little bit longer, a little bit shorter?
I actually fueled up for an hour because I was gonna, just in case the weather was gonna change, I wanted to long out as much as I could. So I had pretty much a full tank ready for an hour. I wouldn't have pitted unless I really had to. I think that was, with the variable weather, it might have been the best strategy, especially as it's got darker.
Yeah.
You don't know whether there's going to be a bit of rain, so I think best just hang it out if you can.
Well, I think it's
It
got
would
a
have
bit
been
cooler
very
as
risky.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd been very risky as well, though, because if it didn't rain, your tyres would have fallen off. Then perhaps you may have pitted in sooner. Who knows? But obviously, we won't know now because you're not in the race anymore. But it would have been interesting to see what would have happened.
I think if you can tell by the time, you've got your little weather thing in the top right hand corner. I think if you're 30 minutes away from your pit stop, or 10 minutes away from your pit stop, and you know that there's going to be no rain coming, I think if you want to go earlier, you can do, because past the point, if there's 15 minutes to go, the pit window closes and it starts raining, you're going to have to pit anyway. So it was one of them. I've been lucky before when in a race in Paul Ricard where I just longed out and it ended up raining right at the death, and I literally had to pit. I was on my last lap of fuel and it started raining. So it can work out. It is very risky because you do lose. You can lose time. To be honest, my pace wasn't there today, so just getting round would have been a bonus.
Well, I think while we've been chatting, Hilson's worked his way up into fourth, so he's got past Clough, who's still putting in good pace, still best of the rest, I'd probably say. Hilson then only 4 seconds behind Jongen, so all that work, dragging himself back up from 16th. He's now only 4 seconds off a podium position. None of the leaders have pitted yet. It looks like they're either going with your tactic, Johnny, going long, or just hanging it out until halfway through. So the reason I asked that question then really was because obviously we had Colin and Adam both pitting relatively early. I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that there was only one mandatory stop, not two.
Yeah, it will be interesting now, because obviously if it isn't going to rain, he will have to go to the end. And then those around him, their tyres will be newer, fresher. So yeah, it may come back to hinder him, but it's still depending on that weather, which could change at any moment.
I'm going to give a big shout out then at the minute. Janssen then still in the 219s, as is Hilson. Those are the only two runners in the 219s. Zilcevic then 7 seconds behind Janssen now, so Janssen really putting the hammer down. Obviously got that setup and driving dialed in so he can have both pace and tyre longevity. So really looking after the tyres. I'm assuming Zilcevic just suffering with the tyres a little bit, so he's dropped to 7 seconds back. Jongen again just a little bit falling off the pace a little bit from where he was earlier, and Hilson also looks to be managing his tyres quite nicely because he was only 2/10 off his fastest lap last lap. So good pace from those guys at the front. Someone we haven't really chatted about in the race, I know we mentioned him in qualifying, Sam, Mr. De Vroid in the killer Lambo up to 9th position.
Yeah, he's doing very well as well. I don't know what, I absolutely hate the Lambo. I don't know how he's driving it, but fair play to him. He's doing very well, and he's probably going to be able to catch up Skip and overtake him in the next few laps as well, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's not far off the kind of top 5 pace right now, but so he's obviously looking after those tyres, putting in the laps, and right on the back of Skip. Ryan coming down pit lane, followed by the TAS. So the oNiD fan special started in the pit lane, and this is it's made its way to his one pit stop, and the TAS as well. We saw with really good pace before he pitted. He made up some two places in about 5 corners at one point a few laps ago. So I think that is a disconnected Wells more than anything, unless he's made it out of the track.
It'd be impressive if he has done, to be fair.
Hey, we've got Simo in chat. Mr. Simo, welcome. Good to see you. Been a while.
Simo's a ledge.
the mic got unmuted for that pure statement that we all agree with.
Yep, Simo is a ledge. oNiD original.
Yeah, definitely oNiD original. I mean, Sammy's not far off as having oNiD original anymore either. To be fair,
No,
you're pretty close.
not that far indeed. One of the first, and obviously the best as well. You all agree with that, don't you?
No comment. No, of course. We've had our first drive-through. Kolkoff.
It's not Steve Bain.
It's not Stevie Bain. He's still good. Stevie Bain's got another 50 minutes to survive without a penalty. But Kolkoff then with a drive-through. I wonder when he's going to take it, because he might be coming up to his pit stop. So that'll be interesting. You can choose on your dash whether you want to take it or do your pit stop when you come down pit lane. So depends if he's got enough fuel in as to what he's going to be able to do with that. But it's taken what 40 minutes to get that drive through, so I'm sure he won't be the last one to get one.
In addition to that, you would not like to get a drive-through around this track out of any of them. You have to go through pretty much 2 pit lanes in order to serve it. Oof, I would not like to be in his shoes. He's going to lose so much time.
Yeah, let's compare it to Snetterton last week, where a drive-through would cost you what 30 seconds. It's going to cost you a minute. Do we reckon? Maybe more. Could be worse.
Yeah,
it is nearly a lap. It does feel like a lap pit stop around here. Stevie B's are still on 0 by the way, so
you can find out how much it takes to do a drive-through.
Can I have a look on race control?
Yeah, so if you go on race control and when he does his drive-through, it'll tell you how long he was in the pit stop.
There you go. I can see time stopped for quite a few people. I think there was quite a few people fixing damage. So Adam D, for instance, his total pit stop time 48 seconds stationary, 2 minutes and 2 seconds total time. So you're probably looking at around 1 minute 50 for a pit stop. So a drive-through is 1 minute 50. Sorry, 1 minute 20. That's rough. That's an 80-second penalty for a drive-through.
Yeah, it isn't the most kindest of tracks to have a drive-through on, but
people thought Zolder was bad.
rules are rules at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We've got.
Could be worse. Could be.
Oh, we have a flying car.
We've got a flying car. I wondered what the yellow was. Baz, I'm not sure what that means. If that's a disconnect or what, but we do have the fabled flying car. He's still flying as well. Can we get a meme out of this? I'm sure we can come up with something later. Sorry, looks like Bazard has an issue. Oh no! Silcevic has lost it then at the top of the hill. I just saw the yellow flagging up, so let's get a replay of what happened. This is coming up. Oh, he's lost it on the first curb. He's lost it on the first curb, and that's Kleinen who's coming up the hill. He's going to be totally unsighted at that point. Kleinen's also returned straight to garage after that then. Kleinen's already had a return to garage moment this race. So Silcevic then, second place man. I think the car's done. I think is he returns to garage, or is he?
He must have to pit in this lap.
Well, let's have a little look. Yeah.
That car looks like it's wrecked, if I'm perfectly honest with you.
I totally agree. You can see how much wheel input is going in while he was going in a straight line. So, yeah. that then opens up the door for Jongen and Hilson then for second and third. We're going to go straight to the outside because that in front is Zilcevic, that's Jongen, and then that's Hilson. So Hilson's caught up the 4 seconds to Jongen. I think Zilcevic quite sensibly getting well out of the way, so with the damage, not wanting to cause an accident or whether he could keep it on the track or not. But then this is effectively your position. This is your fight for second position. Janssen now with a 29-second lead after all of that. 29 seconds. He's really pulled it together today. Yeah, really well done. We've lost Baz to a game crash. Sorry to hear that, Baz. We've guessed as much with the flying Lambo. So
Can that be a meme and it not be me for once?
I'll message Baz afterwards and we'll see if he minds me making it a meme. I wouldn't message you asking if you minded because you put yourself out there. You deserve the memes. But I'll be nice to Baz. We'll see if we can get a meme on that.
We always like a new oNiD meme.
I'm gonna for the 24. Oh, they're both pitted at the same time.
Oh no!
So the 50% through race strategy is the one for these two. So they've both boxed on the same lap. Yeah, I'll equip the stream deck with some kind of meme clips and things ready for the 24, Johnny, to keep us entertained through the night.
I've got a great one for you to clip a meme.
Okay. We'll chat afterwards. Yeah, we'll chat afterwards.
It's
to anyone
me, so it's fine.
To anyone watching that doesn't know, we are actually doing a 24-hour race, by the way. So there are still a couple of spots left on Sim Racing GP. So on the oNiD racing community. If you're interested, check out the Discord if you want to join a team. There's some teams looking for drivers. If you've got a team and you want to take part, it's the 13th to 14th of August. So yeah, check out the Discord for that one. We are looking forward to doing that one, Johnny, haven't we? Because we've been doing a lot of work around it, but then at the same time kind of not looking forward to all the work beforehand and stress. It'll be alright once it gets going, I think.
Well, the only downside is you and Dan have got to spend 24 hours with me in a room.
Well, Dan's about some of the time, so I think he gets away with it. I've got to spend 24 hours because we've decided that rather than us do it in 2 different places, we're so close it'd be rude not to be in the same place.
Yes.
Are you lads even going to have a sleep during that 24?
We'll have some naps.
Power naps.
We'll have some naps, I'm sure. He's going to get really close to the back of Ollie. It's just going to go. Ollie's going to lift off and let him through. That's not full position. That's blue flags. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to the stress because there'll be a lot going on behind the scenes to make sure servers are working and streams working and all the stewarding's going on and all of that. But yeah, hopefully we can get some. We've got plenty of guests lined up to help with the commentary because I don't think we want to be doing too much talking, do we, Johnny? Not for 24 hours.
I like to talk, but I don't think I can do it for 24 hours as much as I'd like to.
Oh, you can.
Well, I think Sam's going to be on there for a bit, so
We shall see.
we shall see. I'm sure he will be. Thankfully, we've got a lot of admins and helpers for the community have been offering up their time to assist, so that means we can really put this event on. And I don't think we'd be able to do it otherwise, would we, Johnny? I don't think we'd cope with all the stewarding and streaming for the full 24 hours. We might keel over. So
yeah, it's certainly going to be a good one though, and it's great to have SGP on board and get everyone involved, and it's going to be good. It's going to be loads of people in the comms booth over the 24 hours. We're open to guests throughout as well, drivers, whatever you want to do, just come and join us, and hopefully it'll just be a really good race. I love Indy, so I think Indy will be a great track for it. I know Steve Worrell's already said he doesn't like it, so
I'm sure he'll be alright when he gets into it.
yes, he will. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Indy, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to that one. There were so many events popped up when the new American tracks came out. A lot of them centered on Watkins, obviously, because Watkins is absolutely incredible. But I think pretty much every organisation did a Watkins race.
Yes. A lot of Dunkota as well.
A lot of Dunkota as well, yeah.
I think personally, Indy's the one that's gone under the radar quite a lot as well. I think it's the track's incredible. If I'm honest with you, I absolutely love the banked corners, banked straight almost. To be fair, it's gonna
While
be
we're
incredible.
sorry, Sam. While we're just chatting about future events and things, do you want to talk about Wednesday, Johnny? Because I think there might be a couple of spots still open.
So no, there isn't actually. There is 5 spots left on SGP, but they are for friends of Jimmy.
Oh, okay, right. I just loaded it. I just came up that there were spaces. We should talk about that one anyway.
Yes.
What have we got coming
definitely.
up on Wednesday? I don't think we're streaming it anywhere, but there is something going on in the Jimmy Broadbent community powered by oNiD on Wednesday, isn't there?
Yes, we have a one-night US Championship, 4 rounds, 4 15-minute races around Kota, Indy, Watkins, and Laguna. Jimmy Broadbent himself is actually going to be racing, and like I just said, a few of his friends are going to be racing as well. And there's a few of the oNiD regulars racing. Quite a lot of admins are racing. So yeah, it's going to be a good event. We've got 3 15-minute races and then a 35-minute kind of finale, Watkins. Each have got a 10-minute qualifying session, but the top 10 from the previous race won't be able to qualify. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to mix the grids up a little bit. It's going to be fun watching people quick battle through the back as well. Probably the likes of Jimmy Broadbent, battling through some of Jimmy Broadbent trying to get past Heike van der Veen, I think might be my highlight of the night.
Full elbows.
Yes, the hiker elbows will be out. So no, it's going to be a really good event. It's finally a chance for us to get Jimmy on ACC, and just have a good, like you said, it's going to be a great event. And there is no stream, not from us anyway. Jimmy will be streaming on Twitch to all his followers, so I'm sure we can host it on ours as well. But yeah, it'd be really good to have him on track. And it's going to be a great event. I'm just looking forward to Watkins as a finale.
Yeah, I was thinking about streaming it myself, but then I was like, well, Jimmy's going to be streaming it, so I don't really see my paltry 4 viewers against Jimmy's 2,000 or whatever he hits at the minute. I don't think it's really worth it. I might just tune in, and I want to see him shouting love at my V12, the power as he destroys me on all the tracks. So yeah,
and plus he's going to finally meet Johnny Crash on track, so it's worth a watch.
I remember when he met Adam D on the track, and Adam jumped so far off out of the way because he was getting blue flagged that I think he ended up in a wall. So let's not have a repeat of that one. So yeah, so that's Wednesday. So if any of you are around, I'm sure Jimmy Broadbent will be streaming it himself. Should we? We've had our kind of ad break around things that are going on, only related things. We're just coming to the end of our kind of pit stop phase then. Although the pit window is still open for another 23 minutes, obviously fuel tanks are only so large, and I think a lot of people have now pretty much finished. So our final 2 in the top 23 are Colclough and Kumar, both coming down the pit lane right now. So what you're seeing for your timings is fairly bang on now. Zilcevic has rejoined.
Yeah, I've just watched Zilcevic go past Adam D. Looked like he overtook him off track, so that's going to be one for the stewards to look at.
Was it at the top of the hill by any chance?
I think he was going through Blanchemont.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it was very interesting. So I don't know if Adam will want the stewards to have a look at that one, but yeah, Adam D up to 7th, by the way.
I know, the dizzying height, and yeah, he's got a nice little gap behind him. Big shout out behind him. Ryan Davies from the pit lane is in 8th. Oh, this is Jongen and Hilson, so they've come together again. These two are just that's Blanchemont. So they're trying to go side by side at Blanchemont, or is Jongen? Oh no, this is Jongen behind. That's a lapped car. Oh, I'm not sure what happens. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like the Merc was starting to lose it, and he went to the right to try and avoid it. The Merc went to the right as well, and then he's collected him.
Yeah, it looked like one of those unfortunate moments you do occasionally get.
So
There's a
it wasn't. I
rematch in
apologise.
that
Hilson and
situation.
Jongen weren't running into each other. I just thought that they were still next to each other on the track, but I think Hilson was repairing his damage, so they survive on, and these two will continue to fight for that second place, I think. Anything you're seeing down the grid, Sam? It's we'll have a look
Yeah, the
at.
grid's actually quite spread out at the moment, to be honest with you. Closest battle on track currently seems to be Cameron in ninth battling Davies, which you're actually on board with right now. Perfect timing.
Yeah, we've lost quite. I wouldn't say lost because they're still in the race, but quite a few of people with it maybe expect to be further forward have had incidents, and there's been some very, very consistent driving from some of our regulars. So we've just mentioned Adam D up in 7th position. 7 seconds behind Adam is Ryan Davies in 8th, coming under pressure from Cameron and Tass, both of whom have had really good pace in race trim today. So they've been working their way back up.
It's also
people...
good. Sorry, it's also good to remember as well that in the first 2 races we've had so far, we have had the same situation where there has been a lull halfway through the race. That does pick up again with around 20 or 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, these three. This is for 8. This is Davies, Cameron, and Tass then. But yeah, we've got Matt Wilmot up into 14th, which, given his woes early on, being towards the back of the pack after the first lap, is pretty good.
Just to interject, I was just looking at your fancy tab thing you just sent me, Ben. Which is
Yes.
and actually, I just picked up what happened with Jongen. So Jongen and Ramat got together going through Blanchimont, and that's what flagged up as an incident.
Yeah, it looked like. So there was actually contact then. So.
Yeah, Ramat was he's down in 23rd, and he's gone through Blanchimont. Jongen's got around the outside of him, and then Ramat's lost it and clipped Jongen.
Okay.
Luckily, Jongen's gone on and not caused too much damage, but yeah, Ramat unfortunately has pulled it into the wall.
Well, it's been surprising, hasn't it, Sam? Because Blanchimon's been the one to get people today rather than Radion. Aside from Zilcevic, I think he's the only person we've really seen bin it at the top of the hill. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right, but it is a bit of a surprise, to be honest with you. This track, 99% of the time you will see it at Eau Rouge Radion, at the section of track in particular. But so far, drivers have been relatively safe through that section. They've been making sure they don't hit the curb too much that it unsettles the car, and they're reaping the rewards with it. To be honest with you, a very, very good race so far.
Yeah, it's genuinely surprised me because we've seen before. Maybe some of the less stable cars aren't in the championship because obviously this is based off the British GT3 roster of cars. We're not seeing as many issues for Rouge and Radion as we kind of anticipated. We thought it might have been a bit of a bloodbath.
The one thing I'm going to mention, we are talking about this just as Ollie Knowles has actually spun it at the top of that section. We're very sorry to him, but he's got back on his way. Steve Bain overtook him for P18 now.
Wow.
Doesn't look like that's much damage either.
Well, I was just having a look because Colin was really got in the toe there behind the McLaren. You can see the difference. That's surprising, to say the least. Or he's just got a bit loose. I think the Tass is going to try and have a move up the inside then. The Tass. Yeah, nicely hugging the inside. Good racing. Space given. I think maybe a few people throughout the field just need to have a look at that. That's how you do it. Giving enough space to each other while still being aggressive. So Colin Cameron then not giving up. He's going to tuck right in behind. If he can follow through Puon, he might have a run here because to Tass just a little bit wide on the first apex, but not quite. So it does look like though the Lambo's looking pretty tasty down the straights today.
I wonder if Cameron will actually be able to get him back soon because he does look like the fast driver. as well, so it is
Yeah,
possible.
but all this action, Skip's joining them as well. So that's Skip behind in another McLaren. So this is a four-way fight then. Ryan with a bit of the traffic jam in behind him. I don't think Ryan's going particularly slowly. I think these guys are just really on it. You can see the pace though, the task really pushing. I wonder if Ryan jumped up the order by not fixing a bit of damage or something like that, or these guys have now fixed their damage and that's why they're behind. Because they're definitely quick. Ryan just a little bit too late on the brakes. Task kind of followed him. Cameron's going to try and get right up onto the back of the task. Might think about the move down the inside, and he is going to think about the move down the inside. But that's, yeah, he does. That's a really nice move. If you get the power down, I think the task still gets the line and might just get the pull. But it looked like Ryan was a little bit slower out the corner. The task is going to be super close coming through here. At least they're not side by side this time. We've seen that already today. Let's see if they'll get through in one piece. They do. And now you'd think if the previous lap was anything to go by, it'll be the Lamborghini that's in the tow. But it looks like the task is going to make a move at the front.
Ooh.
So no tow for Ryan. Obviously, he's at the front of this queue. Oh, and Skip arriving, and yeah, I think we can see what happened there. Just a little bit too late on the brakes. Just got into the back of. Was it Davies on the inside? He was getting into the back of. After all of that, the task then comes out in 8th position. Cameron 9th, and Skip 10th. I think Davies has suffered a bit of a whack from that one. Just having to defend from Richards right now, and he's unfortunately rejoined in 11th. So 4 into 1, that was, wasn't it? 2 and 2 didn't really go, unfortunately.
No. You could kind of see that coming from a mile off, to be honest with you. It's quite unfortunate as well, because they were battling very hard. There was some good racing, to be honest with you, as well.
Yeah, and I think Skip's just pulled off there to let Davies go back through. So fair play, obviously recognising that he's made a mistake. Also lost, is that another? I think that's a lap car. Just going for a little scenery tour of the gravel. Looks like we've got some damage on the front end of that car. So yeah, Skip obviously recognising there. I think he was a bit late on the brakes, and oh
no. Luckily it's a hard enough lead anyway.
He hasn't done what his teammate did and absolutely send it into the wall, thankfully. But Janssen, 30 seconds in the lead, still pushing.
Oh really?
Does anyone let him know that he doesn't need to push that hard?
It's well worth noting as well, by the way, you are watching it now, but Jongen and Hilson are 5 tenths apart. They have been that for like 3 or 4 laps now. I've been watching it for a while. It's been
yeah, I saw Hilson nearly get into the back of Jongen, just going into Blancheron, so it dropped him back a little bit. But yeah, this battle's been amazing.
Yeah, Hilson in the second half of that first stint, really, for the first half they were about the same pace, but then the second half of the first stint, Hilson was a lot quicker. Even fighting his way through traffic, was still catching up Jongen. And by the time he hit clear air, he took 4 seconds out of Jongen in a couple of laps. So I think Hilson, though, definitely being aggressive. I think both of these were super aggressive at the start, which is why I think that initial issue happened. Hilson not recognising that there was a car on the inside and trying to take the apex, I think, caused the issue. So let's see if Hilson can get past in a nice fair way, and that we don't have any more contact between these two, because they're doing really well. Second and third, they've been pulling away from Guerrero in 4th, who's up to 4th, by the way, which is excellent for him. And Sean in 5th. What happened to Colclough then? Did I miss Colclough having an issue?
He had, I think he had a penalty, didn't he? He had a drive-through.
I'm really on the ball with his commentary, Malarkey, and missed that one. So that's a shame, because Colclough was looking really good for that kind of bet. We've said best of the rest because the top 5 was so much faster in race trim that they sort of disappeared. And the only reason people caught them back up was because they were bouncing off each other, thinking it was a 20-minute sprint race. Car rejoining on the right, looks like they've both noticed. That's Ollie Knowles rejoining the race after being in the pit lane. And these two, then Jongen and Hilson, continue to fight.
talking of people that's having a great race, our pad user, Matt Wilmot, in 14th, in a little bit of a world of his own. Plodding along. I think he started 22nd.
Yeah, he had an incident in the first few laps as well, which dropped him back pretty much to the back of the grid. So it's been a remarkable drive through the pack.
I think he managed to avoid any damage, or major damage anyway, and just put the laps in and was just working his way back through the pack. So someone that had self-admitted that he hadn't done Spa too much compared to other tracks, well, he's settled in quite nicely today, and I wouldn't want to be doing Spa on the control, I can tell you that.
I wouldn't want to be doing any track on control, to be honest with you, mate.
Well, that's how we used to play Project Cars. So yeah, I think then I'm guessing that's damage related. So that's a real shame for Ryan. Obviously came off a little bit second best with that incident, or he's had another moment somewhere. So he is boxing, and we'll fix that damage. That's a shame in the oNiD fans livery machine, which is another one of those memes that I don't think is ever going to disappear now. I apologise profusely for coming up with that one.
Hilson may be going for it here. There's lapped cars just ahead of him as well, which is making it harder for Jongen.
Yeah, that's going to be aggressive to try and make the move. I'm not sure who the McLaren is, but they're not fighting. That McLaren's doing exactly what they needed to do there. They have no obligation to just dive out of the way in straights and things like that. And he, got it well out of the way for these two to come through. Jongen dealing with it well, and Hilson was nice and patient there. It looked like he was just going to have a go at von Schmott, which was not going to be the move. The other McLaren looks like it's got a little bit of damage there with the flashing headlights, so I think that was more brake issue flashing than the flash button flashed. So he gets well out of the way. These two continue again, but yeah, well spotted, Sam. I think that did have the possibility to get a little bit messy.
Yeah, you don't know what, it even looks like Jongen's kind of gained a few tenths out of that as well, so these guys...
Trinket de Tass has moved up to 8th, he's got past Colin Cameron.
He has, and he's started to pull away a little bit as well, so... I think de Tass was one of the drivers that had, as they're just coming up to the lap, McLaren... Oh, Hilson chose the wrong side, unfortunately. It looked like he was going to try and go to the left. Yep. I need that on the soundboard.
Pants, boys.
I need that on the soundboard. Cap and Track, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the stream. If you're new, welcome. If not, well, thank you for following us now. Hilson I know what he's trying to do. He was trying to get the jump and maybe go to the other side, but that part of the track's not really wide enough for 3 cars. I don't think, and it couldn't quite make it work. So soundboard definitely required. Gubba, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. A lot of new follows tonight. Thanks everyone for one, showing up and tuning in, and to any of you watching us for the first time, thank you very much for getting involved and following us. We do appreciate it. We're marching towards 1,000 followers at the minute, so thank you everyone.
Which is ridiculous, by the way.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm sure, I don't know how many times we've told the story of how long the Twitch streams have been going, but to get marching towards 1,000 followers is absolutely crazy. So,
and considering we've just hit 1,400 members on SGP and nearly 1,800 members on Discord.
We have hit 1,800 on Discord, I think.
Wow!
So, thanks folks.
Yeah.
It's escalated wildly.
You know what, I bet a year ago when you guys were just starting this out, it's over a year ago now to be fair. When you were just starting this out, I don't think you expected it to ever get this big.
I can tell you the exact conversation I had with Ben when we started oNiD, and it was, I'd be happy if we get 100.
It did take us a little bit to hit the 100, to be fair. Not too long, but we were just doing a few ACC races here and there and doing a lot of Project Cars 2 and stuff. And then suddenly, it just escalated wildly when we started opening up the community on SGP. That is a hell of a run from Hilson. That was a beautiful run. So Hilson then getting the run on the outside of Jongen. I'll be interested if Jongen's going to try and hang it out on the inside. He is, but Jongen just knowing when he was beat there, I think. Lovely late braking from Hilson around the outside. Jongen just about giving enough space. Good fight put up by Jongen, but just couldn't hold him behind any longer. These two have been second and third, following each other around for the last half an hour. So great stuff
Then
from
what
them.
though? Hilson has had the pace of Janssen for the entire race, so it does make you wonder if he didn't have that incident in the opening few minutes of the race, would he have been right behind Janssen at this moment in time, or would he even be ahead?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see his pace next lap, to see what he can do now he's in fresh air. But then also, can Jongen stay with him and try and do something about that? I think we've just lost someone, and that is a very sad looking BMW, unfortunately. So Cole Clough, penalty aside, has had an incident and returns to garage. So that's a shame, because he really was running well. I think regardless of what happened there, he should be happy of where he was running today. He was running at a solid 6th overall pace and was running as high as what, third, fourth at one point as well. So really good work today. So unfortunate that it's ended there the way it is. Hopefully he gets to repair the damage and come back out. As we look at Jongen, then not disappearing behind, is he? Hilson is not disappearing up the road, so it'll be interesting to see where they kind of sit next lap. Detas and Cameron then close still, so these two have been close for a while. Seem to have swapped backwards and forwards a little bit. In the last lap, Cameron was, what, 8/10 faster than Detas, so he's within a second. This is the closest fight on track. We have had a little bit of a field spread, quite a few people recovering from incidents and things, but just to put it in some perspective, Stevie Bain has already been in lap 1 with damage, I believe. Ryan's had his moment, he's in 16th, so Bain 15th and Davey 16th. Broining, we shouted out earlier, well done for carrying on. He's up to 18th now, so he's been working his way back through as well. So a lot of these guys have just continued with it. We've still got 28 or 27 people driving out of the 30 that started. So really good to see this week. People are really sticking around and sticking with it, really.
That's what you always want to see as well. You want to see people participating to the end, because you never know what can happen, to be honest with you. Who knows, you may have had a race like these guys were at the start, it didn't really go too well, but then at the end, you know, you could be fighting for a top half spot still, so always bat out.
Towards the end of the race, Sam. I don't think Stevie B has got a drive through, and I don't think he's anywhere close, to be honest with you.
I mean, he has he's 23 seconds to the car ahead, 8 seconds to the
Oh,
car behind.
I've jinxed him. He's off. He's back on.
That's
fine. He's lost it. That was absolute
that's
timing.
That's going to be one.
No, I think he might have got away with that because it was caused a yellow, which makes me think it was more a mini spinning issue rather than anything else. Stevie B heard me mention his name and instantly decided to go for a Tokyo Drift to poo on. So apologies about that, Stevie. But hopefully you're doing well on the track warnings. Don't get one there either. No, he's fine. So let's put the time in. Matt Wilmot then, with all the incidents going on and stuff, he's putting in some good pace at the minute as well. He's 13th. So I know he was bemoaning Spa and controllers, and not one of his favourites to deal with for a controller. I think there's a lot of trail braking and things, which it's not always the easiest thing to do on a controller. So I can see why I might be struggling with that one, but doing well nonetheless. Stevie B, zero track cuts, Sam. Can you believe it?
I mean, this is like becoming a new tradition of him now. It's almost gone like a period where it was getting like 3 track cuts, penalties, a race.
I think he's a new man.
He hasn't got any in the last few races at all. I don't think he's even got one this season yet.
There's plenty of rounds left for that. I mean, let's not entirely rule him out just yet. But yeah, fair play. I think we've only had 2-3 penalties today. None for for speeding in the pit lane. I think it's all been track cut related. I'd assume that there's some people close, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm sure there'll be some comments on the Discord afterwards going, I did 50 minutes with 3 warnings. So.
Yeah. It's interesting though, we're approaching the final 15 minutes of this race, and we really have one close battle out on track, obviously, and that's the one you're viewing right now with Tas and Cameron. But even them, they're struggling to really gain on them.
Do you think some of the guys that pitted earlier will start dropping off on their pace, and we might see a few more cars closer together towards the end?
Potentially, I think. Obviously, we had people like Adam D and Colin Cameron pitting relatively early. But their pace seems to be absolutely fine. I mean, Adam did do a 2:24 last lap, which is a bit off the pace of what he's been running. So we'll have to watch out for that one. He's only 6 seconds ahead of the task, but I think you can see Cameron, for instance, still looking after the tyres quite nicely and hooked onto the back of the task. So. Yeah, there is a possibility that in the last 5-10 minutes you might see some people struggling, even who's maybe pitted later. You know, if they were struggling in that first stint, they might have the same problems in the second stint.
Yeah, I fully agree with you on that one. It's been a bit of a surprise, to be honest with you. I thought they would have started to struggle, or at least by now, but you may see in like 5-10 minutes time where they really fall off a cliff. Maybe we'll find out sooner or later though.
Nicely done by Heike there, getting well out of the way in the racing stronger Mercedes. Cameron 2/10 behind the TAS. That's a bit far back to have a lunge, so he's not going to have a lunge, but nice and tidy on the brakes. These two still super close to each other. McLaren has a surprisingly good pull out of the corners as well.
Yeah, that's been one of my big surprises from the event today. But there's been a lot as well, to be fair. I didn't expect the Lamborghini to be as good as it has been. Cameron's shown a very good example of how to drive it, to be honest with you. Maybe I can take some pointers from him in the future.
Baz was driving it well as well until he started flying.
Yeah, Baz, to be fair, we've got used to a little bit of Baz putting in some absolute work in that Lambo, because he's used the ST2, he's used the GT3, you know, quite a few different leagues, hasn't he? So he's been on the Sunday leagues in the ST2, he's in Split 2 on Sundays at the minute in the World Tour, and he's in the Lambo and that, so obviously a big fan. Sean Vert, Silcevic fan club, welcome. Yeah, he's working his way back forward, so that's actually a good thing. Should we just pick up on that, because obviously he had the big moment at the top of the hill and had to go and fix the damage, but he's worked his way back up to 6th, and he's on leader pace at the minute. He's at least as fast as Hilson, so he's got 13 minutes left to try and close 11 seconds to Sean in 5th position. So
Top 5 would be a great recovery drive as well, considering he had a big moment.
Absolutely be a big rescue for him. He managed to get the car round in one piece, pretty much, get the damage fixed and get back out. And that's just a testament to his and the Janssen's pace out front, because at the time there was, what, 7 seconds between the two of them, and yeah, they were lapping quicker than anyone else by quite some way. So just showing a yellow, but I'm assuming he's just had a little bit of a moment at Radion. Let's have a look at Cameron again. So these two still can't be pulled apart, really. Good evening, Bo.
Hello.
Good to have you. Luke Etheridge, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Anybody coming along? Thank you very much for joining us. 11 minutes to go in the round 3. British GT3s this evening, and yeah, Janssen leading. Hilson's in second. He's now built up a 2.5 seconds gap to Jongen, and Hilson actually, his pace not far off Janssen at all. So I'm sure he'll be ruining the fact that he's had to work his way back through. But again, he's picked up another big chunk of points this evening if he can keep it in one piece through to the end. So big stuff for him to be able to keep on gaining those points. I can't remember. I'm going to bring up the standings because I've closed the tab.
I was going to say as well, is going to blow the championship wide open with players like drivers like Svicevic being down there, not really going to be regularly scoring finishes.
Yeah.
It's going to make it very interesting heading into the final few rounds of the season.
Well, we've lost a few actually. So Svicevic obviously dropping down a few spots. So he was our leader. Danny Janssen is going to take over the lead of the championship if it ended like this. Jongen would take second in the championship, and then I think Hilson would work his way back up to third or fourth. So Silcevic would end up third or fourth or something like that. So those are the top four, and Kleinen would be a little bit further back now after the incident that befalled him. I think he might have retired actually, because I think he might have had another issue later on, and I think, yes, that's right. So there won't be any points for him coming tonight. So it's he'll drop out of that top four in the championship, and Hilson will work his way back up there. So, but yeah, a little further down. Obviously, Johnny, unfortunate. There's drop rounds in this one, isn't there, Johnny?
Yeah, there is a drop round.
One drop round.
I had a shock in round one. So.
Oh, okay. So a few of our top 15 then have had a few little merry moments tonight. So Andy Hearn not here, so this will be his drop round. Baz obviously with the disconnect, although Baz, fair play, has come back in. Let's pick him up on stream. There he is, 23rd position. So he's managed to reboot the game and get back in, and still not be running last. He's 4 laps down, but he's still going. So absolutely fair play to Baz. Early call for driver of the day then for Baz to get back in the server, and he's made some good moves as well today. So good stuff.
I'm going to be voting for Adam D, although Tass and Cameron are slowly reeling him in.
Yeah, so Adam's not that much slower as he's just working his way past someone on the blue flags. Someone just running off the track. The gap's down to 4 seconds, but he's only lost, Johnny. He's only lost a second and a half in the last 7 minutes. So fingers crossed for Adam. Get Johnny's driver of the day. This would be a great result for him. I think he's definitely enjoying that BMW, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely found the car for him, I think.
I wish I could get my head around this car, because it should suit the way I drive, but I just can't compute. It's too good on the brakes for me. I like rubbish cars apparently.
Get back in the Bentley, that's what you need.
Oh, I'm not dropping my points on Sundays and going the Bentley. No. I'm gonna. Although
what
you
points?
never know, I might. Hey, I got points.
Somehow.
What do you mean? I finished 6th in class in that V12. In the B spec. In the B spec, me and Petter finished 6th and 7th, and he was in the Jag. We did great last night. Last night. Oh dear. But yeah, absolutely from Adam. What about you, Sammy? I know we've still got 7 minutes left, so it's probably way too early to be talking driver of the day votes and things, because anything can happen in the last 7 minutes. But who have you been keeping an eye on?
I feel like I should be choosing someone else, but I'm also going to go with Adam D. It's been great watching him throughout the race, and you know, you kind of have to feel happy for the man we all know what's happened to him recently, where he got stuck commentating for months because of a certain injury, which we don't want him to talk about that much. But it's great to see him back racing again and performing as well, and we're all just so happy to see him there now performing at a very good standard indeed.
Johnny, I'm going to have to mute Sam. It's far too gentlemanly and nice.
I'm sorry.
Has Adam paid you?
I am very sorry. I know it isn't the normal attitude we give the lad, but sometimes he does deserve a little bit of respect.
Oh no,
Occasionally.
we'll be nice, but just not too nice, you know. Otherwise, we're gonna have to start with the peg leg memes again, and it's only one service. We had a few
Yeah,
months
give him a
ago.
week. He'll injure
Concept.
his other leg, so we'll be fine. We'll get back into it soon.
Oh, a little bit loose. Shall I move away from him because I feel like we're gonna jinx him. So I think 2 votes. Oh, Tahas then. Sorry, has a bit of a swapper coming up towards No Name. Cameron then takes over the reins. So I don't know if Cameron was quicker or not, but he's now got a 4.5 second gap ahead to try and catch up Adam in the last 6 minutes of this race. Yeah, a little bit of a swapper for Tahas there. Maybe a sign that those tyres are starting to give up a little bit. Plenty of gaps opened up then through the fields. We're not going to quite have the barnstormer of a finish that we had last week, where we had the 2 over the line.
You can't always
can.
get as good as that though.
No, we had so many fights all the way through that. That was 60 minutes, and that felt like a 30-minute race because it just flew along.
Yeah,
and to be fair, I mean, I was struggling at one point. I think the first 5-6 laps of this race were absolutely insane for a 90-minute race. And then it didn't really seem to slow down until about 60 minutes in the race. Yeah. So.
But then you would always get this period, especially during a 9-minute race, where, and on a track of this size, I suppose as well, you'd always get quite a big gap between each car, and I've seen it here as well. But we've still seen great racing, and oNiD have pulled it out of the bag yet again. Another great event.
It's over 9,000 RPM. Thank you very much for the raid. 13 viewers. Appreciate your company. Hope everyone joining us enjoys the race. We've only got 4 minutes to go. Over 9. Thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate it. Much love. Fastest lap, Bo, is a 2:18.8 from Janssen. So I just saw your chat, and yeah, the 4 minutes left. This has been a 90-minute race, so 1 pit stop as well. So plenty of tyre management going on to make sure everyone can look after them and get to the end. Cameron then closing up a bit on Adam D for 7th. Tahas staying with him. Croc 1001, thank you very much for the follow as well. I am going to show off our leader just for a little bit. So this is Janssen just making his way past the traffic. Very close to the front for him and Zildjić early on, but he's managed it. Apart from that 1/2 spin that we saw where he was apparently still pushing after he built up a 30-second gap. Which seems a bit mad. But
incredible in itself, that really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, it's not always that you're pushing too hard. Obviously, you're keeping your concentration if we're across the 90 minutes. If it's a bit hot when you're doing your sim racing, or maybe it's the first couple of things that you've maybe done on longer stints rather than sprints. It is a little bit of a change in pace, and it can tax you on the old concentration.
Oh.
So.
Oh, I thought that may have been Spain then, but we move. It's ram out with a stop gate 30 late into the race.
Yeah, well, I'm sure Stevie B is still going around. So our prediction was, will he get a drive-through? He's not even going to get a cut track at this point, so my channel points were safe apparently. Absolutely unbelievable.
He did bet 21,000 on no.
He did, yeah, which isn't really throwing. He's still on 0. I reckon there's some sort of.
I reckon there's some sort of rigging here. I think we need to have an investigation into this.
I'd be concerned if he voted yes. Do you know what I mean? Throwing your own race. Cameron then catching up Adam, but not by a lot. The last lap he was a second quicker. Not sure if he's going to have enough time. And Tahas also is still attached to the back of Cameron within a second, so any little slip up and he'll have more company. Hilson has also kind of pulled away from Jongen. So Jongen's pace just dropped to the last few laps, same as we saw in that first stint as well. So maybe the setup being a bit aggressive on the tyres.
Cameron's just gained 7/10 on Adam.
In one sector as well.
Yeah.
I wonder if Adam D may have made a small error there at some point during this lap.
Adam is within my screen of Cameron as well. So
yeah, it's now down to 1.5 seconds.
And this, I did say this might happen. Adam did pit very early.
I'm just trying to work out if we're going to get another lap.
I think we are. It's going to be very close.
It's going to be close, isn't it? So Adam will be praying that after this lap he's on, he doesn't have another one.
The interesting thing here as well is Janssen has such a big lead. He can afford to go a bit slower on this lap to ensure he does get the checkered flag this lap as well.
Yeah, exactly. He could do that, especially if he's tight on fuel. Sam in chat with the highlight message. Adam's School of Defence. Yes, Adam's been learning off Willie for about a year now. The Willie Black School of Defence. So he's got plenty of that in his locker. So I think we are going to get another lap, unless he backs off. Unless Janssen backs off and wants to take it easy. Browning just had a little moment there, but he's back on. This is Janssen. It does look like he is not going to make it. So
Adam's just crossed the line, so there's another lap for Adam to do.
So one more lap for Adam and Cameron. He's lapped most of the field then. He's lapped all the way up to Richards, I believe. So yeah, Richards. So he's lapped up to 11th. Janssen, then congratulations, over the line with a race victory in round 3.
Whoa.
Dominant in the end. Hilson will come along across the line in second, and Jongen will be third to make up your podium. We're going to go straight over and have a little look back from Adam D. So this is 7th, 8th. The TAS then has dropped back quite a bit. Might have just had some tyre issues himself. Oh, and Cameron pushing, isn't he? Really pushing. He's obviously going to be on used tyres as well. So these two, a little bit more of a gap. That's Hilson over the line then for second place. So that was the gap between himself and Janssen. And then Jongen, a regular at oNiD in general, comes over the line in third position. So congratulations to our top 3 who pulled that together quite nicely. A really nice consistent race. A few little incidents early on in the race for the guys. A little bit of contact here and there. But yeah, they continue. Adam then maintaining the gap, isn't he? Now at about a second. But just keep it nice and clean. Guerrero then coming over the line in 4th position. So I think that's his season best, Guerrero, so congratulations to him. I don't think he's managed to get into the top 5 yet this season, so great race for him. And Sean as well, Finnick comes over the line in 5th. Zilcevic is just coming up to the line now in 6th, so a great comeback from him. He'll be disappointed obviously with the mistake, but at the same time he's managed to bring that over the line in one piece. This is Cameron looking forward at Adam D, who I think is to have this one. Alright, makes the apex on the bus stop chicane. And although it was a little bit closer than he was anticipating at the end, he's Adam D comes over the line, 7th position, Cameron in 8th place, and the TAS in 9th. Those are our last 3 cars over the line. Well, he says Skip just coming over the line to finish 10th place. Fantastic race then. We did get a fight at the end. It did come down to the end, Sam.
Yeah, you know what? There was some very good racing throughout the entire event today. And I think, I don't know what we're going to expect from the final 3 events, but it's going to be amazing no matter what.
Here he is then. Let's talk to the driver of the day, Adam D.
Hang on, has Sam voted for me 2 weeks in a row as driver?
He
of
did
the day?
actually. It was actually
I
Sam.
know.
I don't know how much you paid him. It's disgusting.
Sam.
I like you too much, Adam. That's why.
Oh my god, get
Oh.
out
I'm
of the
getting
room.
all out here.
I said I
Oh.
was going to mute him. I wasn't joking.
Oh.
I'll be honest.
He's-
I mean, there's-
I tell you what,
there's-
you wouldn't like me if you saw the state of me right now. I'm just, I'm a pond basically. Wow.
Yeah, you're
What
right.
a
You
race
didn't
that
need to
was.
know that. Yeah, congratulations. So congratulations. Great result in the end.
Thank you. And yeah, I saw Cameron and Detas coming back at me pretty quickly from quite a way out on that one because, as Johnny predicted, my tyres were not great towards the end. But you know, you take those gambles with the strategy, and actually it paid off because I gained positions by pitting early. I did like my fastest laps of the race shortly after I pitted and gained a few places from it, and they managed to hold on to it. So I have to say that I'm loving that BMW right now.
Don't know what, I was going to say, it looks like you finally found the car that you liked most. I imagine you're going to be using the BMW in the further leagues in the future as well.
Yeah, until they probably decide to bop it and screw me. But at the moment,
As always.
it suits me because it's not too snappy. It's pretty stable. I can take curbs easily. And also, if you do get into a spot of bother, you can generally save it quite easily as well. So that works out for somebody with my level of skill. So no, it's good. It's good. And yeah, I have to say, Johnny, this is a cracking format that you've put together for the Monday night races. I'm well into this.
I'm not going to take all the credit. There was a lot of input from Andy and Stevie on this one, and Matt Holman as well. They've put in some really good ideas, and it's been really good. I really like the no refueling and the one stop for the 90 minutes. Makes it really interesting.
Yeah, it does. Because normally we'd do like 2 stops for a 90, wouldn't we? And yeah, this kind of just gave you a different thought process on strategy. And what I decided to do is, I knew I needed about 170 litres to get through the race. So I just went 60 for the start. I thought I want to go a bit lighter at the start and try and make up some places. And then I'll put the rest in for the second stint. And yeah, it was a gamble, but it's worked out.
Yeah, it looked like I was interested that you pitted relatively early compared to some of the other cars, because it pretty much had just ticked over to 25-30 minutes in. And,
I think it was pretty much bang on an hour to go when I stopped. And that was the idea, was I wanted to get to the hour mark, and I had a bit of a do I do one more lap or not, and decided to. I crossed the line with 4.1 litres left. Bearing in mind it was saying that I was doing 4.0 litres a lap, so a bit risky, but I just wanted to get one more lap in and tick over the hour mark. It was just because it's that thing of like, you know, if you go into an endurance race, you're going to do a 65-minute stint. So you know that people drive 65-minute stints in these cars all the time. So therefore, can do it. It's just a case of I needed to be sort of past that hour mark just to give myself the mental thought that it's all good.
And I think it was actually a lot of the drivers who did pit earlier finished quite a long way forward. I think Colin was behind you, finished right behind you in the race. He pitted relatively early as well. So maybe that was the strategy, was not to go long, or to go in the middle. Use those tyres kind of early and use that fresh air that you've got to get yourself in the position, because it seemed to work for Ryan as well.
I very, very consciously took quite a slow out lap just to try not to lean on them too much too quickly. I don't know how much that works in sim, but I thought I'd do it anyway. I know that's what they do in real life.
It does help, yeah. It does help.
Yeah, and then but then once I felt the car start to come back to where it was before, I did a couple of laps that were in the 20s, which, you know, for me is he's really good pace. That's what I was doing in qualifying on my very quickest lap. So I did a couple of those laps, and then started just going consistent, like 21.5, 21.5, 21.5, which, as Johnny will tell you, that's not very common for me to find a consistency. So it just kind of worked, yeah.
No, it's fantastic. Well, I think we've pretty much called it. I don't know about Sam, but I'm knackered. And it was only 90 minutes. I don't know how Adam, how have we got through like endurance race things before doing this? It's absolutely mad. But I think it helps when there was so much going on for most of that race. We were definitely very engaged. I think we got about a 10-minute downtime in the middle there for us to chat with Johnny a bit, and then it just sort of all went mad again. So yeah,
and I had the stream on in the background, and it sounded like you guys had an absolutely manic start to the race. I'm looking forward to watching that back for myself. But yeah, I have to say the standard of driving out there tonight was really, really good. Back markers in general did a superb job. It was just it was really nice racing. I mean, quite early on, I was in a 5-way for a couple of laps, and
Mate, hang on, you're in a what?
in a 5-way, yeah, giggity. Giggity. But it was all good.
well, yeah, I think apart from a little bit of fisticuffs on the first few laps where everyone got a little bit overly aggressive, which I'm sure will get picked up by the stewards and stuff. Yeah, it was really good racing throughout the field, and where there were accidental little knocks and things, people were very kind in giving up places and things to make sure that they weren't losing out. So yeah, really good to see that the Jimmy Broadbent series events powered by oNiD have really come along nicely over the last, how many months have we been running these now? I can't even remember. 4 months, 5 months?
6 months.
Is it 6 months now? Yeah, the standard of racing within the community is really coming along, and yeah, it's just that's why we're in a position where we're running more events and streaming a lot of them as well. So just to shout out for a few people in track, Tricky HG, Cameron in the race says great racing today, and All Out Fobs, I'm sure I know who that is, but says pit crew put me on the same tyres again.
That's
yeah.
Trinket the test.
Yes, that's not going to be fun for you. For going out on the same tyres twice. But yeah. So yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Thanks Adam for joining us at the end. You can go and cool off a little bit now. Johnny, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry the Merc wasn't particularly friendly to you this evening, but pleasure to have you in the commentary box for some of the race. And yeah, Sam, as ever, thank you very much. Myself and Sam will be back with you next week. I'm trying to think. The next stream is Sunday, which will be the World Tour. Unless someone's going to point out that I've forgotten one, I'm pretty sure it's Sunday.
All I would say is that make sure you tune in to Jimmy Broadbent's live stream on Wednesday night.
Yeah, we've mentioned it a few times. But yeah, check out the Jimmy Broadbent stream on Wednesday for the Jimmy Broadbent powered by oNiD's mini US League. 4 races in one night of 4 different tracks on ACC. Jimmy and friends plus oNiD and community meet in the middle. So yeah, we're really looking forward to that one. A few of us are doing some racing in that too. So we'll hopefully see you all then.
Back in the Bentley.
Oh, Johnny's back in the Bentley. I'm in.
Well,
back
it wasn't
in the
a drive to
V12.
Merc, was he?
No. What are you in, Adam? What are you racing in?
BMW.
BMW. Okay, you should join me in the V12. But yeah, so.
No.
Oh no, why not? It's a great car. Thanks everyone. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye,
Cheers.
guys.
Bye to the guys.
Thanks everyone. Have a great evening, and yep, catch you tomorrow on Jimmy's stream or on Sunday on oNiD Racing. Thank you very much, and see you next week. Bye.